Hello, my name is Dr. Lane Robson. I'm a pediatrician and a pediatric kidney and bladder specialist. I've been working as a doctor helping families for almost 50 years. Yep, I'm that old. For the last 20 years, I've devoted my practice exclusively to helping families with children who have day and nighttime wetting. When you focus on such a small area for a long time, you'll learn a thing or two. I hope these videos help families that have children with day and nighttime wetting. Thank you. Hello, my name is Dr. Lane Robson. The question I'm going to answer today is, why does my daughter squat on the floor to help prevent wetting her clothes? Squatting is a learned response by the little girl to a sudden, overwhelming bladder contraction. The bladder contraction comes right out of the blue and takes the child completely by surprise. Over time, they learn to drop down onto the floor on their knees, place their heel in their groin, and freeze, motionless. They freeze in that squatting position until the bladder contraction passes. Then they stand up. Most of them will go to the bathroom at that point, but some of them don't, but they should. Now, the parents that describe squatting to me, they tell me that the child has a look of concentration in the face. Some of them describe this as a deer in the headlights look. Some parents describe tears in the eyes, or a flushed face, or a painful expression. The squat can last 20-30 seconds, even longer, a minute, sometimes even longer than a minute. Now, the child learns to squat to turn a soaker into modest dampness, and this makes intuitive sense to the little girl. However, there's a dark side to squatting. While the child is squatting, while they have that intense look of concentration or pained expression, the pressure in the bladder is very high. And over time, that high pressure can cause problems. When squatting persists for weeks, months, and even years, the bladder pressure causes the bladder wall to get slowly but surely thicker. And then it gets irregular. And if this persists for years and years, the bladder can lose its function. It can lose its ability to contract and to empty. So squatting really isn't a good thing. Now, there are two groups of girls who squat. The largest group, 75%, 3 out of 4 in my experience, have smoldering bladder infection. I say smoldering because it's usually unrecognized by the family. It's unrecognized because the child doesn't have the typical burning, hurting to pee symptoms that we expect with bladder infection. The second group are girls that don't have infection, but they've learned to really hold their urine past full. They hold it and hold it and hold it until the bladder is so stressed that sudden, overwhelming bladder contraction develops, and they squat to turn a soaker into dampness. Now, either way, whether there's smoldering infection or the child has just learned to really hold the pee past full, squatting is a problem. It stresses the bladder. The bladder wall gets thick and irregular, and over time, a child could lose their bladder function. So I consider squatting a serious symptom. Every child with squatting needs to be assessed for infection and the infection treated if present. Every child with squatting needs to have their bowel health improved to take the pressure of the poop outside the bladder pushing in off. And every child with squatting needs to be encouraged to pee sooner and more often to keep the bladder pressure down. Thank you.